Okay, cool. So, yeah, welcome back, guys, to Wednesday's Radiant Citadel game. We are, what is it, 2 journeys in at the moment, and you've just competed in the arcane arena. A bit of a, what are those called? Battle Royale style game, where our paladin came out on top, got a beautiful amulet for his work, but now you guys find yourself in the Radiant Citadel once more. And of course, what you do is up to you. There's always work to be done around the outlying civilizations, but there's also a lot to do in the town itself. You guys have got some winnings, you might want to spend that, or I'm not sure how you want to approach this, but um, it's still about midday, getting into the later half of the day. You've got a good 5-6 hours before you start to need to think about sleeping. So, yeah, I mean, you guys, if you want to do something in particular, that's up to you. Otherwise, you can always go speak about your next contract or next job.
Britktop needs a short bow before I forget again.
Easily arranged. 25 gold pieces.
Okay, I've got that in my wallet.
Yeah, sure. Any other shopping that needs to be done while you're here? And then you guys have the ale fight weapons. It's this group, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so don't forget about those extra effects you got there.
So the shield, I think that's the same table from the barbarian.
Effectively, yeah, it's just been reworked a bit,
Yeah.
and to use your
Got it.
proficiency amount of turns instead of until rage ends.
Got it.
Okay, so there's no plans in particular here. Is that what I'm hearing?
No pressing matters.
Sure, it's fine.
I think so.
Well, there's always something to be had or done. You can see, I mean, the city's as busy as it always is, just a mix of people of different ethnicities and backgrounds. There is a bit of a kind of a nobility to the city as such. Not they're kind of self-appointed. You can see them moving around in wagon-drawn carts, sedans, kind of hidden from the commoners, so to speak. They mostly take up the larger kind of mansionesque manors that are along the bottom edge of the Radiant Citadel. You've heard a bit about the lavish parties they throw, but they are sometimes said to go into the excess or even be rather hedonistic. But in the meantime, as you walk out of the Colosseum enjoying your new spoils, you can see was an amulet that was awarded to your paladin friend. Your trip takes you, as you kind of, I imagine, meandering gently towards the entrance to the Aurora Diamond, past the House of Convalescence. Now, kind of one of the centers of healing. I mean, the walk itself is beautiful through the kind of trees, and the buildings are adorned with the various different crystals that represent their dawn incarnate or their people, and various other. It's a very bright and colorful place. It tends to reflect that in the types of people you see here. However, when you get to about here, you do hear sudden screams coming from an alleyway nearby. What is your approach to this?
I hear screaming. Let's investigate. Roosh will run toward the screaming.
Very well. So, I mean, you arrive on a fairly standard, quaint-looking little boulevard. Just getting my notes here. People are standing, kind of cowering in fear, quaking, and you can see the reason why. It looks to be in the middle of the street. There's a gnome that rushes at a skeleton, rope in hand, as a dark-haired young woman wraps her arms around the skeleton itself, yelling, "Mom, stop! Please, help is coming!" The skeleton seems to ignore her, slamming into the gnome, just sending him reeling, like rolls to a stop. Get you onto the page. So you see, let's put you guys on here as well. You can be around the party token, I would imagine. If you're running in, you kind of push past a couple people watching from the outskirts. What you see is this figure here, this female, is trying to kind of stop the skeleton from reaching any of the people here, are kind of stunned in fear at what's happening. You're not really sure what the deal is here, but how you approach
Now,
things. Yes?
DM, did you say that while we're in the Citadel, we don't have our weapons?
I'd say you working for the shield bearers, you'd be able to have them at least, like,
Okay.
on you somewhere.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, but you arrive to the scene, and you can see the... let's actually... The gnome is going to be kind of out cold, rolled into the garden here. I think we're going to start with an initiative order, as this skeleton looks interested in heading down here. And there is... Let's see here, what you can see from where you are. Is anyone here from San Citlan? Okay, it doesn't sound like it. Would anyone like to give me a history check if they may have had interactions with the kind of more majorcratic society of San Citlan? Oh wait, why am I all the way at the top? Natural one, brick top. Okay, well, so you would at least be aware of Bricktop, and probably Agrush as well. It's a fairly common and interesting aspect of their society, of Olvidados, figures that have returned to kind of form sapient skeletons that retain the memory and personality of their previous life. They don't really know what happened in the afterlife, but they continue to live amongst the people, and this is kind of a common enough thing. Although this figure, this skeleton, obviously seems extremely violent.
DM, can you throw that name in the chat?
Oh yeah, I can. Here we go. So now, as this woman is kind of circled around the skeleton, trying to push against it, it seems to be kind of ignoring her. Well, she does refer to it as Mom the whole time, begging for it to stop. But it doesn't. Well, it doesn't seem to hurt her. It doesn't seem to heed her warnings either. As it tries to get to the citizens nearby, Makari. I'm going to start with you.
Right. Let's we could obviously we're just gonna go forward. Let's have a look at range. 40 feet. I think that's too far from next. Mount makes dash action. Just me another 30. Let's go here. I'm gonna throw a net because she's calling it mother, and we don't want to just absolutely body someone for no reason. Gonna miss with the net past her.
Okay, fair enough. She does look grateful towards you, though, coming, not kind of rushing, just straight for destruction. That'll bring us to Bricktop.
Yeah. Brooktop is going to run up behind Makari. And Brooktop is going to cast blindness on the skeleton.
Okay, interesting. So that is a con save, alright. Oh, whoops.
Sorry, my DC is 13 now.
Okay, no problem.
Forgot to update that.
That is the wrong skeleton. Here we go. Okay, so can't save. That is. Oh, that's a very high roll. It's a 23.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Is that your turn?
Yep, that's gonna be it.
Alright, dig it.
Okay. He's gonna move 5 and then 25, move up behind then he's gonna do a telekinetic shove bonus action. Trying to pull the skeleton closer.
Nice, okay. Pushes through though.
Okay. Yeah. He's gonna try to do turn undead.
Isn't that it's an action as well?
Yes. The telekinetic shove was bonus action.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Wisdom save. Okay, it's can't roll lower than 18,
Yeah.
it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Right. The creature just surges forward, causing this figure to kind of get knocked to the side as it moves up to this, the first figure frozen in fear, and it kind of reaches forward, grabbing onto the figure. You hear a cry as they are lost in a burst of spores that has a 5-foot radius centered on itself. So, I mean, it's going to make a saving throw to no avail, even if they succeed, unless I roll the world's lowest roll here. That's 13 damage. You see the figure just kind of expire in the creature's arms as the spores fade away. The body is wet and dripping and sloughing to the ground, and before long nothing but a skeleton is there. A skeleton that does begin to kind of move somewhat. That's going to be the end of this creature's turn.
Groosh will dash. And that's all.
Okay. That'll bring us to Katara.
Okay, Chara will move to here, and having seen the skeleton actually kill someone, she's going to take out her short bow and take a shot.
Okay. You hear a scream from the girl on the ground, but your arrow does strike true. Let's see here, so it's going to be 7 piercing. The creature kind of is racked forward. You can hear some of the bones splintering and shattering. It is still standing. Kind of the head turns to regard you somewhat.
That'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, then back to the top with Makari.
Okay, right. So, unfortunately for these things, they are undead. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, no, sorry. 20. I want to be hitting with disadvantage. Let's just do that.
Got 18 hits.
18 to hit.
So, 18 to hit. Oh, so you're smiting as well, I take it.
Oh, yeah. It's on deck.
Radiant energy flows into this creature. You can see some more hairline cracks shattering some further of the bones there. And let's just see here. So that is a total of 17, which is a fair amount. And immediately you can see the creature is looking bloodied from that. It does give off this, from hitting it, you can see all its bones are kind of laced with this powder that erupts into the air almost like spores when you hit it. Thankfully no creatures are around it that are going to be affected by it. This creature is now looks to be very similar to what you're facing, the person you just killed. Are you ending your turn after the attack there, Makari?
Yes.
Okay.
This is it.
Brings us around to Bricktop again.
Bricktop is going to follow Makari once more. And he is going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on the original skeleton.
Nice. Let's double check. Yeah, it is not immune to that.
Oh,
Is
man.
the lowest roll, but just meets, unfortunately. This creature is rampaging.
This is a very strong skeleton, guys.
Is indeed. Well, that'll bring us to Daggett. So the skeleton is kind of turned around now that this other one is also a skeleton. It's turned around to look at Makari, who's kind of caused it all this damage. What are you doing, Daggett?
Okay, he's gonna move to there. Bonus action on the other one to pull it closer.
Ah, yes, so let's make a save here. Strength, quite strong.
DC 14.
But it's a fail. So this was the new one? Or the original?
Yeah, the new one gets pulled in 5 feet closer.
Okay.
And then
You can also
I can
use, it
actually
looks like these commoners are literally frozen in fear. You can spend an action to slap them or shake them and kind of send them on their way if you want.
no. We're gonna do spike growth. Just it essentially would be there.
Okay, 20-foot radius. Okay, perfect. Are you staying where you are?
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's see here. Does not get back its spore burst. It will step forward up to Makari. You can hear a woman on the side who's you wouldn't know her name at this point, but she is calling out for this creature just non-stop for it to halt its attack, but to no avail. It's going to move up and make a slam attack against our paladin here. So
When it moves, it takes 5 damage from
yeah,
the
thank
spike
you.
growth.
It will take that damage and it's going to slam. A 16 though, I don't think we'll be doing the job, eh?
Nope.
Well, it's going to make 2. It's got multi-attack here, so see if we can do better. Even worse. That ends its turn. The other one kind of looks around. Let's see here. I mean, you're closer than that guy, so it's going to do the same. It's also going to take some damage. You can roll for that.
Damn it.
Although this one is not this creature's supposed mother, so let's see here. As she is in range, I think this creature will go for her instead. Do you have any kind of interception or anything that could assist her in this instance, Makari?
Not without 5 foot. She's not within 5 feet of me, unfortunately.
Okay,
I
well
can't stop
she
it.
was kind of in the middle here, so let's get a d4 roll. 1 to 2, she is next to you. Okay, she is. This creature's going to lunge forward for a slam attack.
Thanks, my reaction.
What is your reaction?
The interception.
Okay, let's see here.
Which is plus
5
proficiency. Proficiency is now 2 still. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like backpedaling, screaming as this creature reaches forwards for her, but
I negate all damage.
nice. Creature kind of stares up towards you as your lance blocks the first slam, and the second one, I think, will come at you instead then, but a 16 is not going to do it either. Ogrush.
Ogrush will move here, and then he will use the Shield Master feat to Shield Bash the skeleton.
Nice.
It looks like that'll be my strength DC 8. So I think it's going to be 15 to stay standing
Yeah, I mean, it gets an
on
18.
its save. Oh, okay, it's still standing. And then Ogrush will attack with the War Pick.
Nice. Yeah, that will hit.
That's all Ogrush is going to do this turn.
So roll some damage for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's gonna cause a contaminated puff, I'm afraid. So everyone within 5 feet needs to make me a dex saving throw. So this creature's bones are also kind of laced. I'll make it for this woman here. Okay, dex save from Ogrush. We also need it from our paladin. And paladin, what do people add because of your aura? And is that 10 or 5 feet?
I don't have an aura yet, I don't think.
Oh, isn't that's level 6? Maybe I'm just...
Yeah, that's level
yeah,
6.
Yeah.
So
Is it necrotic or poison damage?
it is necrotic.
Okay, so I don't get resistance. Alright. I'm doing it. Doing it here.
Okay,
Save.
thankfully a very low roll, only 4. You can hear this woman kind of retching, coughing out her guts, not looking too good. So yeah, 4 necrotic to anyone that failed there. Grush, you passed, flying colours. War pick, so was it a single attack and then end of turn?
Yes.
Okay. So bringing us to Qatar, you can see these creatures can be a bit tricky to engage in melee. One of them does look wounded, so I don't know why the colouring is off in here. The southern one is healthier, the northern one is bloodied.
It's because
Okay,
it's treating both tokens as the same token.
Yeah.
It's treating it as one NPC. I hate Roll20 that it does that.
Short bow attack on the wounded one.
Okay, more ammunition flying to this creature's chest, ripping apart, sending bones splintering. It's looking very wounded at this point.
And I will move up to here to kind of protect that individual.
Nice. Okay, well, that'll bring us back to the paladin in the thick of things, kind of rubbing spores off your face.
Okay. Mount action disengage. So that's the mount's action. My action will be to go here We are going to lance poke the guy to the south without smite this time. Oh no, I am critting. I am choosing to smite.
Okay, the southern one. There's 20.
Northern. I can't hit the southern one.
Okay, the northern one. That's the one that is the
Was
supposed
damaged.
mother of this person here, hey?
Yep.
Okay, so with that.
Sorry, I'm dead. I scream with holy fervor as I drive my lance towards it.
Yeah, the bones just turn into dust. The creature disintegrates onto a little pile of ash on the floor as the woman kind of bursts out screaming and crying. But it is dead. Again.
Re-dead.
Yes. Okay, that'll bring us down to Bricktop, just this kind of converted creature now lying left.
Bricktop is actually going to come here to the other side of the Daggett. He's going to grab the woman and pull her back 10 feet
Okay,
from
fair
the
enough.
skeleton.
Yeah, she's inconsolable, but she doesn't resist, just kind of drag backwards. Anything you want to add for your bonus or anything else?
No.
Okay, so Daggett, back to you, one enemy here.
Yeah, bonus action, try to shove it 5 feet back.
Okay, strength save does have 16 strength, so oh, it does fail though.
Okay, so 8 damage, ooh, max.
Oh, very nice.
Then
So it's looking bloodied at this point.
yeah, he's gonna move to there. He's gonna try to Thorn Whip it.
12 will actually wait, let me double check. That will just miss.
Oh damn it! Okay.
Alright.
That's
So
okay.
the creature, I mean, it's going to do the job for you as it hungers, it moves forward. You can roll a bit more damage there, and it's going to make use of it. Hasn't used its contaminated burst yet, so as it lunges out towards you guys, kind of throwing its arms in the air, raking its bones against each other, releasing these spores. I need a con save from 5 feet around this creature. So Daggett, Ogrush. The DC is going to be 14 on this one, and 4d8 necrotic. So what we're looking at, so you guys are both going to be taking full damage from this 18 points of necrotic, as you can kind of feel your skin begin to wither and crack and just fall prey to this necrotic nature here. But that is all it does this time. What you doing, Agrush?
He's going to try another shield bash. See if he can knock it down.
This time it works.
He'll attack the 4-pick with advantage because it's on the ground. Oh, nice. Is that a 20?
That's a nat 20.
Yeah.
So then
What?
there's also the D8 from being a half orc, and the D8 from something else. What is it? No, it's just the half orc.
Okay.
Oh wait, I rolled 2, but they're both 5.
Alright. So looks like 17 total.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice damage. Unfortunately, the creature does retaliate in a sense with this contaminated puff, so I'm going to need a dex save from you two around it. And oof, that's 5 on a save, 9 on a fail. There's a bit of yeah, the spores get dispersed into the air. Are you ending your turn there?
I think Agrush is going to use an action surge and try and hit it again while it's down.
It's looking extremely wounded, yeah. Okay, that'll and this is lethal, correct?
Yes.
Okay, with that the skull shatters, the rest of the body slumps down, bones skittering along the floor, as we come to an end of initiative. You start to, these people kind of come to their senses, shaking, realizing what danger they were in, and they all begin to sprint, kind of bumbling, stumbling into walls and buildings. They just get as far away as they can. Some people kind of start to crowd in closer now that the problem is dealt with. You can just hear whispering, wandering, and over all of this kind of just racking, screaming sobs from this woman here that Bricktop's comforting. She looks around.
I feel terrible. What has happened?
It
These
was
spores
my
they
mother.
burn my lungs.
I don't know what was wrong with her, but she had returned to me as Los Olvidados. It must have been. She's kind of sobbing, heaving. Her face is just a mess with all kinds of liquid snot and tears. So, anyone? Let's see here. I think
Did she look like she took any damage
she
during
did.
this?
She did. Yeah. She's
Okay.
not even really worrying about it, but she is past bloodied.
Okay. Well, Bricktop will give her a cure wounds then.
Okay. Nice. Hear a gasp as she immediately starts to feel better.
6.
Nice. No, that's full health already. And who was it that got such a high history check for the San Citlan? Was that you, Bricktop?
Bricktop had a 17.
A 17. Okay. So with the 17, let me just get this here. Where is that? Just lost my place here. With the 17, you'd know something is definitely not right here. The Olvidados do look like skeletons. They're considered living. They are undead, but this strange disease or rot or spores is definitely strange, and they are. You're aware that Olvidados are always in control of their senses. They are like regular people, except for the fact that they don't have flesh.
Mm-hmm. When did your mother appear? Just now?
She nods. Um, yes, she had returned to me on the Concord Jewels. The festival, the Night of Remembrance, is supposed to happen soon. So it must have been because of that. And Bricktop, this would immediately be a warning symbol to you. You would know that Olvidados only ever return, 100% of the time, only ever return during the festival of the Night of the Remembered. And then some
Yeah.
of them do remain afterwards.
Yeah. And Bricktop was about to ask her, if the Olvidados, do they actually come here into the Citadel? We're still kind of new to the area. I've heard of them, but they travel to the Radiant Citadel?
They have been known to once or twice. They mostly stay in the city of San Citlan, where the connection to Katrina is strongest.
You said Katrina?
Yes, the saint, patron of the city of San Citlan, a figure of legend that helps bring our loved ones back to us. She is worshipped extensively. I have not. I mean, it's what I have heard. I am third generation Radiant Citadel. I have not been back in quite some time.
I I know some of the the Night of Remembrance and these Olvidados. It's not until a couple days, you said, correct?
She nods. I planned on visiting what family I had left. They live in one of the outlying villages of Mil Pazul.
Something's not right for your mother to have returned early. How long has it been since your mother passed?
It must be a couple of days. I got a letter with one of the recent postage trips. This makes me worried for the rest of my family. Maybe I need to visit. I haven't been in so long. She kind of starts to pull herself slightly together. She's still very distraught over what's happened. She kind of can't believe what's going on. Someone's handed her a handkerchief and she's busy like sorting out her face and wiping herself. At this point, you see acolytes from the House of Convalescence beginning to arrive, and a shield bearer knight kind of on the scene, and kind of heard the sounds, and upon looking at the skeletons, one of them immediately kind of shouts back for a contamination kit, and they begin to kind of run forward to see what's happening with the remains of the skeletons here. Asking you all kinds of questions. What happened? When you touched it, what was its behavior? This and that. I imagine you guys would just be truthful for the most part.
Yeah, we would give him a report and indicate that we're shield bearers as well.
Nod, seeing your emblems, and they do tend to favor your testimony over the others that come forward. Yes, Dejit?
Yeah, he's gonna ask the woman, excuse me to have to ask this, but how long ago has it been since your mother passed away?
She... So, just double checking. Yeah, it's going to be 2 days. She got a letter. 2 days.
Okay. 2 days.
Yeah. And since then, she would say, since then her mother returned as an Olvidado, although only she doesn't really know anymore because Bricktop's saying that's not possible.
Yeah.
She's obviously fairly ignorant of the cultures.
Yeah. And then he's gonna go to the skeletons and he's gonna take out the alchemist supplies and herbalism kit, and he's gonna try to see what exactly were the spores and
Sure.
try to determine it.
Are you trying to use medicine for this?
Yeah.
Cool. So medicine is accepted. Arcana would also be appropriate if someone else wants to try as well. 11. Let's just double check here.
Can't roll for shit today.
Shame. Okay, we got no other arcanas in chat. Let's see. I'm afraid an 11. While this is something you've never experienced before, it does seem strange. It's definitely you've never seen someone with a case like this. It's strange that the one thing you will note, it seems like the creature was trying to spread the disease itself. It was kind of looking around, targeting the closest, freshest victim, and when it attacked, it seemed to try to kind of embrace before releasing this cloud's burst. It's definitely like a self-propagating virus, curse, disease. You're not 100% on that.
Okay.
But I mean, the acolytes as well from the House of Convalescence can also attest to that. Would you like to speak to them about any of this? They might have a bit more information.
Yeah, if like they have their experts and they're doing their tests, we'd like to see if they figured it out.
So one stands up to you, an acolyte that's kind of busy working there. They're working on bringing up some kind of containment bags where they can move the skeletons without too much of the spores being jostled. They take you aside somewhat to kind of just avoid being overheard by nearby civilians. We don't know much, but kind of all travel in from San Citlan has been locked down since a couple of hours ago. This is all very hush-hush, and from what we have discovered so far, we'll know more when we get these two back to the office, it's more of a more of a curse than a disease, strangely enough.
Do we know the origin of this curse?
Not more than it comes from San Citlan.
So how did the skeleton make it through the checkpoint?
Olvidados are not uncommon. The guards didn't think twice. The creature was apparently acting quite normal until it immersed itself in the populated areas here in the market.
Over the next few days, I think that all Olvidados should get closer scrutiny. I also think we should go there to investigate.
Well, I mean, there was that kind of. I think it lines up with Commander Hosnum's plans anyway. I think San Citlan was one of the places that did need some visiting, especially seeing as the Night of Remembrance is coming up soon, and now that all the strangeness is happening.
Bakari would definitely be eager to go kill some undead. I mean, help some undead.
Let's pack our bags and go to Mexico.
Yeah,
Sorry, San Citlan.
it's totally Mexico. I had to just research all of these names and how to pronounce them. So, okay. Anything you want to get done here in the situation in the town before you head out? Alright, well, in that case, the woman that is kind of grieving over her mother question mark will definitely tell you that she lived in, I'll put the place here, Mil Pazul. So, if you're looking for a place to start tracking down info on that, on this strange ailment, that's probably a fairly good place to start. From the shield bearer's headquarters, you would be able to get, I imagine, a rough map. This is roughly what San Citlan looks like. And if you guys wanted to make any inquiries as to the people and places, you would have a chance to do so.
I think we would probably collect the name or the family name of the lady who recognized the Olvidado.
Yes, that is, let me put it in chat here, Apanko. Like that. That's her surname. So in general, what is mostly known of San Citlan is that it lies at a convergence of ley lines, which leads to wait, let me actually just get the chair. Which leads to the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead being thin in that area. It is a place suffused in magic. Citizens commune with the dead in joyful festivals, and industrious minds create wonders of magic and technology. What you will be warned about by the shield bearers is that there is a very large economic inequality between the wealthy landowners and technocrats and the kind of lower workers. So there's a lot of extremely rich and a lot of extremely poor people there. It's not the happiest of places for what it is, but it is a cosmopolitan trade hub. So the city of Milzapul, I've marked it over here, would be a couple of hours walk from the city. Now, as you gather all your objects, have a last good night's sleep, you can kind of start at full resources here. You would be heading aboard the Fire Opal Concord Jewel, greeted once more by the Clavigers dressed in they all kind of wear the pilots of the Concord Jewels, Clavigers as they're known, wear the same kind of uniform. These ones obviously themed and motifed for the Fire Opal, and the people of San Citlan, they all have their own little accents to them. But it's not too hard once you have your mind set to wake up, have breakfast in the dormitories, and head out to the Concord Jewels. And before you know it, I mean, it doesn't take as long as you thought to kind of head out to the deep ethereal before the jaunt takes you into the material plane, and into an atmosphere once more. You find yourself on the border of San Citlan as the Concord Jewel sets down. And I mean, as you step out, kind of hot, windy, very desert-like arid landscape here. As you look around, it's kind of just mountains, valleys, and this long kind of plateaus. Let's see, but yeah, you've arrived in San Citlan. You can see that the two suns, both one kind of more yellow and the other more orange, but both large, different places of the sky kind of beating down, causing these twin shadows that give everything a kind of weird light. You can hear the screams and cries and smell the industry in the distance as San Citlan does emerge from the landscape, towering plazas and manors, and as well as like smoke just pouring into the sky from all its many foundries and metalworks.
I have read of a mystical food type from this place called tacos. I wish to try them.
Heard they have some really good strong drinks.
Made from cactus, yes, I recall.
Well, I mean, you have a choice here. You do have a lead for your investigation to head towards the kind of outlying town of Milzapul, Milpazul. San Citlan is fairly close by, but a couple of hours would put you where the skeleton came from, so it's up to you guys.
I'm sure there will be a food truck somewhere along the way. Let's head to Milpazul.
We can
Macquarie, I've got
try.
a truck.
We can try and go into Sunset Land. Maybe we can gather some other information. Or maybe they have some other incident that maybe they can let us know about, and from there it might lead to some knowledge of how to deal with this.
Maybe we could find one of the local churches. See if
Or,
they
yeah.
have heard of any disturbance with the ancestors.
Yes, good idea.
Okay, so a quick jaunt into the outskirts of San Citlan. Now, you start to head through. The outskirts are kind of the pushed out. You can see the remnants of society, the people performing kind of the lowest of roles, all kind of scraping together what meager existence they can. It's actually a very strange contrast, because you can see a lot of them are operating like their desks are, or they're like cooking on levitating pads. You can see them packing things or moving bricks with these gloves that kind of extend with kind of mage hands out of them. There's this definite dichotomy of kind of very rich with resources and magical artifacts, but these people live very simple and most of the time quite dangerously poor lives. You'll find this kind of the slums on the outsides of San Citlan. Good enough place as any to gather information if you are looking for it. Sorry to actually, guys, could I ask if we could take our halfway break here?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
My younger brother just arrived. I've just got to flag him inside. He's moving into the property for a bit. Sorry, but it won't be long.
No problem.
Okay.
Be back in 5 or 10.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be 10
Alright.
minutes. I'll see you guys now.
So has anyone else here been playing Blood Bowl?
Bloodborne?
Blood Bowl.
Oh, no.
No. It's Warhammer 40k fantasy American football.
Okay.
So it's like they just released the Blood Bowl 3, which is the computer game of the board game.
Okay. Nah. Not much of a sports person.
It's not sports, it's Warhammer. There's a difference.
Yeah, you're playing f- fantasy football in Warhammer. I mean,
Yeah, it's fantasy football with bodying people.
Yeah. I
And I'm
have.
the type of person who plays some FIFA, so I don't care. I mean, like,
Mm, yeah, I don't play any sports at all.
I don't even like racing games.
Not really. I used to actually play basketball, but long ago.
I was strictly talking about computer games. Actual exercise, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I do neither.
Dude, playing
Nowadays,
the
I do
sports
neither.
games is too much exertion for me.
No.
Um,
But I have been playing Hogwarts.
ah,
Yeah.
what trial are you on?
At the moment, I was doing the mission to try to get the second curse spell. I
Imperial.
had yes,
Ah, okay, I know where you are. You're with Sebastian.
yes.
I haven't
Yeah.
spent time on it yet.
I had just finished the second trial a few missions beforehand.
Yeah. I know where
Yeah.
you are. You're about 3 hours behind me, and you'll probably overtake me because I'm now on doing all of the side quests.
Mm. I'll be honest, I do like a couple of main missions and then just go to side quests. That's how I tend to play RPGs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't just grind out all the side quests. I've had to level up at this point because one of the missions that I got given from someone. I'm being so fucking vague here because the last thing I'm gonna do is spoil this game because it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, at one point it's just like the actual story mission. It was just like, a mission for 24. Yeah, I can handle that. And then like the white side quest, like the friendship side quest that you have to do for
Mm.
like the 3 or 4 different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 27. I'm just like, I am not going near that yet.
Oh. Yeah. I found a side quest from a vendor, which is the only thing I'm gonna tell you. Um, level 30. I haven't gone to it yet because I'm under leveled for it, but yeah. And I got that side mission when I was like level 15 or something. I was like, holy shit, a bit early.
You went too far outside. You went to do an explore. It's what I've done.
Uh-huh.
So the further away from Hogwarts, obviously, the higher level there is, and then once you go to the mountain pass coastline thing in the bottom fucking right of the map, that place
Yeah.
is just yeah,
I haven't been there yet.
uh, yeah, just it's a good place to level like off the
Mm.
trash because everything there is like level fucking 25, 26, 27, 28.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
and
I'm I'm close to that level now. Like I think I'm like 26.
have you guys bothered with your rooms of requirement?
But yeah, I've done some breeding, some. At the moment, that's really the only thing I can do.
Which
Besides
means
potions.
so if you've done the breeding one, does that mean you've done the one after that?
Don't think so. No, I've only done the first breeding one.
No, there's not the second breeding one. If I say bird, you're gonna say no, right?
If no, I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, so you have done Deke's quest after that one then?
I don't remember who gave me the quest. I'll be honest. I don't remember where the quest come from. I know they're in my quest tab. I go there and click. Okay, this one I'm doing this.
Next.
Yeah, that's what that's how I do it. I run around, collect quests, and then start going one after the other. Except for like the curses, because I really wanna get all the curses as quickly as I can.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I shouldn't have. I was playing the good guy playthrough, but then I kind of got Crucio somehow, and I was just like, well, fuck it, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Uh, yeah.
But I play my games kind of like with D&D, you know. I have my character in my head of how they would act. So he uses normal magic on normal like
San
enemies and stuff, but
Citlan,
then when he comes up against like poachers, because he's
Standard City.
a Hufflepuff herbology beastmaster kind of spec. That's where I put my points in.
Pirates.
So that's when he starts crucioing and imperioing people because it makes him angry. He doesn't like people that hurt animals.
Oh no, I went pure chaotic. I'm Slytherin all the way.
Okay, I am back.
Yeah.
Welcome
E.
back.
Sorry about that. Good to go again. Uh, so, what was there was a question asked before we left, I think, from Ogrush? Or was it someone else?
No, no, I don't think we were headed to San Citlan.
No, so
Yeah.
what I meant is to the people of San Citlan, because you've made it to the edges and you're walking through these. I mean, people are staring at you. You're definitely foreign, and this is kind of the salt of the earth people. You can see mostly nothing, wearing rags, living in very poor conditions. You can move through this area, but if you want to stop and ask questions here,
Yeah, I think Ogrush will probably walk up to a usual suspect and say, "You there? We have come from the Radiant Citadel. We wish to speak with you for a moment." And he'll fish out a copper from his coin pouch.
oof, copper. The figure eyes you, and you can see kind of hands that definitely look like they see work for the majority of the day. And he sighs, just like those in the Tresena, eh? A copper. That's all my time's worth, eh? What is it you want to know, foreigner?
Bakari will
Uh,
try hand this guy gold for aggressive answer because yeah, every service needs payment. Aggressive.
well, I can see that you're a person of discerning taste. Uh, we're just looking for a church in the nearby area. Can you point us in the right direction?
To get to the official churches, you're gonna have to head into the city proper. About half an hour's walk that way, kind of points towards the general southwest. We've got lots of little shrines and places of worship, if that is what you're interested in. The Lady of the Night does not disparage between the rich and the poor, at least.
And nor do I. Enjoy your copper. Thank you, sir.
Nods. So he did refer to this as this area you're in. He referred to it as Los Gavilanes, kind of the informal old town. You can see ancient manors here that were probably quite fair back in the day, but now kind of turned into collective living quarters rented out to industrial workers and their families. So what is the plan here? I mean, you could be.
Let's,
He could point you to the nearest shrine if that's what you're really interested in.
Yeah, I think Bricktop's idea to go talk to someone at the churches about unrest in the ancestors is a good idea.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a fair amount of devout amongst, especially amongst the poorer folks, usually much more so than the nobles of the city. Asking around a bit, though, you don't find that people here are experiencing any of these problems. There's no signs of Olvidado's turning, trying to acting anything other than normal. And you see a fair few of these skeletons running shops, moving around. Not only skeletons, but spirits as well, kind of vague forms of people. And I mean, they're interacting with the world around them as much as they can, and as much as anyone else would. So, I mean, what you take away from this probably is that this problem has not reached San Citlan, at least.
Perhaps we should go to Milpazul.
Yes. Hopefully we can intercept it before it spreads any further.
Okay. You head back through this area here. There's people busy setting up for the festival of the Night of Remembrance, paying homage to kind of stories of the past. But for the most part, no one stops you on your journey out back into the, I don't know how to say this, Maguey Valley. But Milsapul lies about 3 hours away. You're aware of that. So with the hot suns kind of beating down, not much cloud cover to protect you in this instance. Looks like you're traveling on foot. Anything you want to do during the journey? If anyone's going to be keeping an eye out, like keeping a lookout, they can make a perception check for me. You're not sure on the natural predators here. I don't think you guys made much inquiries into that regard.
He's really control shit today.
Okay.
I don't think I have rolled above a 5.
So, I feel your pain, man. You guys
I'll use my passive of 17, please.
Okay. Just keeping an eye out from the back of your steed there. Just trying to find out this one moment here. Where they mention these creatures. Here we are. You do, as you start to move into the hillside, kind of the sun causing you all to start sweating copiously, pretty much instantaneous. The bits of dust that's kicked up from your travel kind of sticking to you and making it quite uncomfortable. You do see paths that have been worn into the land here, as it looks like travel at least is fairly common between San Citlan and the outlying cities. And in the distance, a couple of people with a cart that you start to overtake pretty readily. You haven't reached them yet, but as you do, you hear this strange sound, as those would be our paladin keeping watch, that notices a couple of large winged figures that have been heading closer and closer, and now that they are at a bit of a distance where you can make them out, they do look quite bizarre. They seem to have the wings of a bird of prey, but the head of a stag. I'm just waiting for my handout to load. No. Here we are. Does this picture show for you?
Yeah.
Okay. If anyone wants to make an arcane or a history check to try and identify this, otherwise, no one from this area. Oh, there we go. That's a pretty good one. So, Agrush has at least read about these creatures, peritons. They are monstrous carnivores that feed on creatures. They prefer humanoids, especially elves, half-elves, and humans. They typically kill by ripping out the prey's heart and taking it back to their nest to be devoured. They are intelligent. They are. They usually roost atop mountain ridges and lair in high caves.
Dangerous creatures, but they don't like the taste of orc flesh. I suspect that will be okay, but humans and elves should take care.
Do we have any half elves and humans amongst the group here?
Nope.
Don't think so.
Okay. Well, lucky for you guys then, I guess. You see them circling above you. Now, they do show a bit of interest, but for the most part, kind of eventually sail off to the side, and you can see a couple of, as you get to about here, off along the distance, a couple of ramshackle buildings indicating it's some kind of structures at the nook of the mountain there, some kind of other village. But besides that, your trip to Millsapool is not interrupted as you meet up with this figure who is an older gentleman that is kind of just transporting a bit of goods from San Citlan to Millsapool himself. You see that his wagon does not have wheels, it has kind of levitation plates that have been attached to the underside, offering a much kind of smoother ride. It is pulled by a donkey though, so there's this definite dichotomy.
Good day to you, sir. We travel to Milpazul. May we walk with you?
Oh, yeah, of course. You've been there before? You don't look like the type from around here.
Never. We are seeking the Apanko family. We come from the Radiant Citadel, and an episode has happened, and we need to speak with them.
Oh, yeah, lovely people. Been away at San Citlan for a couple of weeks now on work. It'll be good to get home and have a cup at the Pulcheria.
A cup of what?
Damn it. Let me look at this pronunciation again. Everything here is a fancy word. It's quite tricky. Damn it, where did they put that thing here? Yeah, pulque. An alcoholic beverage made from fermented agave sap. And one of the only drinks made
Tequila.
by one of the only drinks made by Rufina. Wait till you meet her. She's an Alvidados that runs the pulqueria there. Lovely place.
These olvidados, they are of great interest to us. They do not come from my place or my people. They're very interesting to me.
Oh well, I mean, you get over their looks after a while. Besides that, I mean, they're pretty much the people they were, except that they don't need to eat or drink or sleep.
See, and you said you've been in San Citlan for a few weeks now.
Oh yes, not looking too good at the moment, I'll tell you that. People are angry.
Can you explain why?
Well, I don't get too much into the politics myself, but from what I've heard, the leader of the Tresena, which is kind of the council that full of representatives and blah blah blah. I'll put that word into chat for you, the Tresena. The leader recently died, and they were quite popular, weren't they? Now there's talk of at the next night of remembrance of bringing them back as an Olvidados to, well, it would be rule without term, I guess. They wouldn't pass away, would they? You're supposed to give up the seat when you get too old. Some people are for it because she's done all of this and she's done this for the people and done this for the... some people are obviously against it, so...
Well, politics is not our concern. We are humble public servants searching for the Apanko family. But I do wish to enjoy a delicious cup of this fermented beverage with you.
Well, the first one's on me, stranger. I'll head straight. Well, actually, as he looks quite forward, he looks forward. You guys have been traveling for quite a while at this point, and the town of Mulpazul has been getting closer and closer in the distance. It is it is on a hillside, and you can see the kind of the sloping land begin to trend up towards it in the distance. Now, as you get close, you see a. Let me just double check I'm in the right place here. So, yeah, you're moving through this kind of semi-arid valley. Mulpazul sitting on a hill overlooking it. The road ends at a wooden archway in a low, dry stone wall that surrounds most of the settlement. However, as you near it, you do see a man on horseback spurs his mount and kind of vanishes inside into the village. When you guys are still a couple of 100 feet off.
What do you make of that, donkey driver?
Strange. Can't say I know. Anyone who wants to is welcome to give me whatever checks they want to throw at the situation, be it perception or anything else. I mean, it was a bit too far away for my eyes. It just looked like someone riding a horse. Okay, 13, 19. Let's double check here.
Feeling very perceptive today.
You've been rolling a lot of 20s today. I think that's the fourth one.
Very nice.
Excellent.
So, what you notice as well is there seems to be, in the distance, and you can kind of just make it out because of the angle of the hills, there is this, there's kind of smoke rising. It's not smoke, in fact, it's actually dust from many horses moving in the distance, and that kind of gives you a bad feeling that something unwholesome is taking place here.
I have a bad feeling about this. Whenever I have bad feelings, I get thirsty.
Bricktop hands you his flask.
Thank you.
Wine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can see now this archway to the town that is set into the wall that surrounds the settlement. Now, are you simply heading ever towards the town?
Yeah, I think to the pulqueria.
Okay. Just get you onto that map then. As you begin to approach, let's see, where is it? Here we are. Within the waist-high village walls, you can see a dozen or so wooden adobe houses surround a well. There's a worn-out sign that hangs crookedly from the arch that proclaims in faded blue paint, "Welcome to Milpazul." But that welcome is obviously kind of contradicted as you look around and hear the angry voices and cries of pain coming from behind a building nearby. Now, as you see a bit of dust from the figure that preceded you into the village, as you see that begin to settle, you do notice. Let's get you onto the map here. Fanny! Sorry, there's dogs outside that are screaming at each other. You do see that there are figures that have set up along the wall that are kind of just peeking out over the top, and you hear there are a bunch of longbows you can see sticking out from the barrier here. "Clear out! La Paloma pays for her crimes this day!" And they all release a round of arrows at you guys. So we're going to get you onto the map here. Let's just get you. You're not on the right page yet, are you? Oh, you are. Okay. So unfortunately I couldn't find the map of my dreams, so it's not perfectly representative of the situation here. So I'm going to put a low wall for us to use, and I'm just going to get some guys in there.
Good night. Anyone who DMs knows your struggle.
These new modules are really lights on their maps.
Yep. There's been a lot of complaints about the later stuff from D&D, like from Wizards, how they instead of doing like a creature module or whatever, they put in like 2 little bits for everyone. So the DM has to buy it, the player has to buy it, everyone has to buy it because it's got a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we just got a couple of guys here. I'm gonna say they're set up on the buildings instead of by the fence because there's not a lot of space for you to stand here. And we'll get you guys on the left and row, and then we'll get going. Okay, while I wait for my copies to appear, so we'll start off these round of kind of surprise attacks. There's only 7 of them, so we're going to say 2 of them will be going at Kitara. I will say without advantage because they did kind of announce their position before they fired. So, turn off these whispers. Okay, 2 at Katara, 1 at Ogrush, 1 at Degat, that's 4, so then 1 at Makari and 2 at Bricktop. Let's get this. Okay, so Bricktop 13, Makari a 6 to hit you, Degat a natural 20, I'm afraid, for 11 points.
Yeah.
Katara an 18 and a... Wait, are those the top ones? An 18 and a 17, Katara.
I would like to use my deflect vessels.
Perfect.
Nice.
And let me here we go.
Okay, so what was it? There were 2 of them, so I imagine you just reflect the first one, and because you reflect all the damage, I believe it allows you to spend a key point to throw it back.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do a key point on that one.
Fair enough. You do just kind of catch one as another one embeds itself into your shoulder, you drop the one to the ground. There's this kind of panic in the air as the one sees that, but you see they go for more arrows, so I imagine at this point you're going to break into full initiative.
Daggett, you can remove the 11 damage you took because I intercepted.
He negated
nice.
all the damage again.
Yeah, I negated
Nice.
all of that crit.
That's
Awesome. It's fucking almost better than a healer at that point.
It's such a good build, right? I'd really
Yeah.
enjoy it.
All the other dogs clear though.
It's amazing.
Alright, as we get into things, these guys roll the kind of initiative that means they're not going to see the light of day. Let's get to Makari first.
Alright, one second. Where are we? We are good.
And as you move in, so you can see that this place does have people. Well, you see like a face or 2 peeking out from between shutters and indoors. It looks like people are kind of hiding in their houses.
But the people who I can see seem to be hostile.
Oh yeah. This is
Okay.
the name they screamed out there. Sorry, I caps that. La Paloma.
Okay.
I like palomas.
I'm just gonna go here, get in front of Dagger because they're shooting, and we're just gonna firebolt closest. Hey,
Ooh.
Okay, roll damage.
this guy up here. Oh wait, ignore smite. Why is smite still tipped?
Smiting.
I put smiting fireball. That would be fucking OP.
So he is kind of thrown backwards, falling. You kind of lose sight of him as he crumples onto the top of the roof. He looks extremely wounded from that.
But Makari says, "Those who will attack my party shall be shown my punishment."
And they immediately... Okay, yeah, are you moving or anything else?
No, I got in front of Digger.
Perfect.
That's what I'm doing.
They're
Oh,
immediately
right,
kind
you
of getting to their feet, kind of looking around. Definitely caught their attention. Daggett, how are you following that up?
Okay. The s- the same guy that he hit, he's gonna try to. He's Is he 30 feet away or is he more because he's on the roof?
He would be more. He would be about 40 feet.
40 feet, okay.
You could step forward and back though.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's gonna try to first. He's gonna try to telekinetically shove.
So one thing I didn't make clear that should be very visible on the map is they have riding horses down this road here. You can see them tied and kind of saddled and ready.
Okay.
So what are you casting, Daggett?
He's doing the telekinetic shove to try to pull the guy off the roof.
Nice.
Yeah.
So DC 14.
Ah, it's a
Damn it.
15.
Okay. Well, then let's try it a different way.
Thorn whip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, ah! As he like flies down into the ground, skiing into the dirt, but very much not getting up.
Then he step back to there. That's my turn.
You can get behind Makari if you want as well.
I have 25 feet of movement,
Oh,
not 30, so.
you got small legs, sorry.
Yeah.
It's alright.
And a fat belly. Mini Santa.
Okay. Qatar is going to move.
It's easy enough to vault the wall, not going to cost you anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then that'll be one. And how tall are these plants here? Are they trees or just bushes? Or
There's some trees next to you. They would probably max out at about 12, 13 feet. The houses are about 10 feet.
okay, I'm going to use some of those for cover eventually, but I am going to take a shot at this person with the longbow here on the building.
Nice. Nice. Would you like that to be with the same
17.
arrow that you caught from him?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Decent. Well, you return it to him into the shoulder, kind of catching him, throwing him off from his next shot.
And then I'll take cover behind one of the trees and spend a key point for patient defense.
Okay, getting ready to dodge any attacks coming your way. Bricktop.
Alright, Bricktop is going to run 10 feet forward and climb this wall to get up to the roof. So that'd be all his movement.
Sure.
Do you want to check or something from that? Or
Let's see here. I mean,
you got a
can you give us
16 strength.
athletics or acrobatics? It's a fairly low
Okay.
DC.
Okay. And Brooktop is going to see the scout up on the roof with him, and he is going to give him a middle finger with a vicious mockery.
Nice.
whatever. And he is going to raise his sword and prepare for an attack. And that's it.
Right. So, as you get back to their turns, I mean, you can see, looking at the one on the ground, looking at Katara, one of them does kind of lose their nerve, runs to the side here. Well, I would say they would rather just use these stairs. One person is going to kind of move back to their horse, begin disattaching that and kind of moving off to the north. We'll have another couple of shots. This one will kind of step to the edge here and it will shoot at you as it is also retreating, but it still makes the attack. Looking around, I think Katara's definitely got their attention of how he, although he's behind a tree and dodging, so maybe someone more in the open. I think Bricktop is in the open, like on the top of this roof, so he'll get a shot at him. But that'll miss and the creature will get back down the stairs as well, and you see he kind of runs to the next, he won't have enough movement, but he's retreating is what it looks like while he's shooting. Similar from this one, longbow at Makari, to no avail. This one against Bricktop, ooh, I don't know what to make of this. You'll hear him kind of as he prepares to kind of move a bit backwards as well. Who are you with? Are you also here for La Paloma? You stealing our bounty?
Yes, I would love to drink some palomas with you.
Snarls and runs to the edge here, jumps down to the lower portion of the roof, and will take a longbow shot at you before continuing the retreat. This one will catch you, it looks like, stabbing into the leg. He will run to the edge and drop down to the alley behind. You can see they haven't loaded yet, but you have to believe me, there are another couple of horses here in this courtyard. Ogrush, some of them are retreating while firing, and some haven't moved yet.
Ogrush will.
Yes.
Yeah. Ogrush will walk through the archway and he'll say, "We have come to help you with your Olvidados problem. We mean you no harm."
Okay. So
I thought you were rolling an attack for a second.
he says while he pulls the string back. You see the figures kind of, most of them drop their bows momentarily. They look towards their dead friend, and as you motion or convey to them in some sense that the violence may end here, they are fleeing is what it looks like. They are running to horses, they are grabbing, and obviously you have the chance to retaliate or intervene if you wish. But if you're telling them that Ogrush, they look like they're interested in taking you up on that and making a retreat of it. So as we get to the scout's turn, there's going to be some of them that do manage to retreat, going to get on a horse, get a bit further back. But what is the party's general opinion on the situation?
Oh, I thought they already went. Did they not?
Some of them move on initiative 3, some of them move on 10. So
Oh, gotcha. It's two different groups.
Yeah. So you
Got
could intervene and make retreating difficult for them if you wished. I don't know what your plans are here.
Can I have an insight to see whether they've just raided this town or like why are they here? Like, are these bad people?
They've been crying out the whole time they're here for La
A
Paloma,
bounty, yeah.
and so they seem to be bounty hunters. You're not sure who this person they're hunting is, if they're bad or good. You can make an insight check for me though. That's definitely applicable. Alright. They look fearful at the moment. That's kind of all you pick up from them. They definitely think that they're over their heads here and they are trying to retreat. Most likely they mistake you guys for like a rival bounty hunter band.
Makari's going to call out and ask what their bounty's done. What are the charges?
As they're packing their stuff, one of them does turn around to address you. Let me just get this open here. opens this scroll that he was keeping. Paloma, a gnome charged with dissent against the Tresena, as well as charged with rustling and attempted murder. There is a 2,000 gold reward on her head.
That's valuable. Who has put this
no.
bounty on Paloma's head?
It was set by the Crucible Court, which is kind of where the Tresena rules from, the official appointed people. So basically the government. But that's none of our business, as long as we get the gold. But it looks like if you have reason to dispute, I am not one here to die over. I see what magics you bring.
We do not seek La Paloma. We have come here seeking the family. What was it? Punko? Seeking the family Punko. We come from the Radiant Citadel.
There's definitely a pause at this. You can hear. You can hear some of the people now kind of crying out, "They're bandits! Thieves!" The figures of Milpazul definitely do not agree with them. You can see in the distance, no, you wouldn't be able to see this, but there is kind of calls for them to get out of town and basically, yeah, all that jazz.
What does this Paloma look like?
He can show you the kind of wanted picture. Here we are. I've got a handout. She looks like what you would expect your grandma to look like if she was a gnome. That's probably not loading for you. It's not loading for me.
No.
I can see it.
What if my grandma was a gnome?
No offense. Okay, shit. Let me just try reading
So
the page.
there's citizens screaming these guys are bandits, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like.
Makari will say, "Drop everything you've taken. You can go without problem. Do not do so. Then prepare to face the full might of the Citadel."
Okay. They will throw down their weapons, but they will remain on their horses and begin to try and leave in that manner, cantering out of town, splitting up kind of in different directions. So I just need
It's
to
nice of them to drop all their +3 weapons.
Yeah, right. Just reloading here so I can get you that handout. But you do see as the people begin to canter off into the distance, civilians and townsfolk do begin to slowly emerge bit by bit. Let me see if this loads now. Okay, yeah, this should hopefully work this time. Maybe. Can you see it?
See anything?
Yeah.
You do see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, well.
Not yet.
This thing is
It'll
going.
load.
I'm just going to put it into Discord to not worry about this. There we go. Now, as the townsfolk begin to re-emerge, and you guys kind of head in, you can hear the figure, the old man that was kind of walking with you behind you, you who took cover when this all started to happen, kind of head in as well, looking around. What was happening here? I leave the town for a couple of weeks and we got bounty hunters. And in the distance there's a slender figure that is tending to a couple of what look to be wounded villagers who respond by kind of reaching out and rubbing hands along the robes. And you can see bony hands and feet. As this figure approaches you, you realize they're more than simply thin. They're a skeleton clothed in a yellow and magenta dress with many colorful bead necklaces hanging from the exposed vertebra of their neck. You must be parched after that fight, they say. How about some drinks, friends? On the house?
Most excellent. We've
On
come
the
to
house?
sample the pulqueria.
You are in luck. You are speaking to Rufina. I run the pulqueria here. Come.
Oh, Rufina, we have heard of you. Your reputation has traveled far. We come from the Radiant Citadel.
Ah, far-flung
Nate,
travelers. Yes?
you put the picture of La Paloma on the wrong.
Did I? Damn it. So,
Yeah, yeah, you put it on the one of tonight.
hold on. I'll fix that. Damn it. They can just wonder why I'm posting gnomes there for them.
Yeah, because I saw it on there, I was like, wait, no, this is the
That's
wrong
right.
one. Yeah, I was like, huh, this is the wrong table.
Okay. There we go.
I don't know. Bricktop's picture isn't that bad either.
Oh yeah.
If my favorite Mexican restaurant was to close on Wednesday, that'd be my lunch.
So here is what a rough idea of what this lady looks like. They had so many chances to kind of do a Day of the Dead vibe about her, but I found just a kind of a rough estimate. So she is a skeleton, but she carries herself well. She's fairly poised. Looks in control of herself. Nothing like the spore-ridden beings you met earlier. And she introduces herself as Rufina. So.
Yeah, they definitely dropped the ball on that. Like, she's not even a skeleton in her picture.
No, that's one I try to source. Trying to find a friendly skeleton is very difficult, so I settled on some kind
okay.
of Day of the Dead vibe.
Damn.
But she's a nice person. But you can see these baggy clothes now. No reason for her to wear them, obviously, because she's got no flesh, but it seems to, just be a habit or maybe a courtesy to those around her. And people are beginning to recover and come out of the buildings.
Rufina, I am a lover of strong drinks myself, so much so that it's my surname. I would be interested in learning the ways that you make your special liquor, if you would be willing to share with me a recipe per se.
There's a bit of a dry, throaty chuckle, and you can see that obviously you can't see facial expressions because it's just a skeleton staring out at you, which has been kind of bejazzled, a little bit decorated with quite beautiful patterns of kind of emeralds and jewels along the brow to accentuate certain features. But there's definitely a mirth to the voice that you can hear, even though it is slightly raspy. Well, you are welcome. We are known for our pulque here. It seems to be the one recipe that I remember after coming back in San Citlan. But please come this way. We shall speak about the situation here. As she's moving through the streets, if you guys choose to follow her, that is, you will see people kind of gesture, call out, ask if everything's alright. This does seem to be a figure that the town looks towards, or at least is respected here amongst everybody. Now, as you are moving through the village, one thing you do notice as you get a bit further in, there are many locals that seem to be huddled in corners, bundled in blanket-like serapes. That's imagine like a poncho kind of vibe, trembling with the cold despite it being a very hot day. I mean, you guys are sweating.
Rufina, what is going on with these people? They seem to be shivering.
She has stopped by one or two of these figures, She looks back at you. Unfortunately, these are the unfortunate. These are the ones who have caught what we call Sereno. I'll put that in chat for you. An ailment spread by the bitter cold winds of the desert. The sunlight is the only reprieve and rest that they can find, the poor souls. This is one of the problems that our village is facing recently.
What other problems have arisen?
Well, with the... well, let us speak in more relaxed environments at least, as she finishes the kind of last street or two to the Pulcheria, which, and please excuse me if I'm butchering anything that you guys are fond of in terms of the language here. You can see that the front wall of Rufina's Tavern, which is known as a Pulcheria, is it specializes in pulque, this agave syrup drink. The front wall is plastered with portraits of missing persons and requests for help. And as you enter the tavern, the pulqueria's walls, you can see that the walls are painted with murals that depict a series of armed conflicts, with kind of locals celebrating victory at the end, from what it looks like. You can see a candle-lit altar behind the bar, which includes a painting portrait of an elderly woman, which is surrounded by yellow marigolds and offerings of drinks and cactus fruits. And there are a couple of figures, a couple of townsfolk spread around the room. A couple of people the ones that do catch your eye are some dwarves seated at one of the three tables in the Pulcheria, that they do kind of keep an eye on you, and they do seem to be quite heavily armed.
Bricktop waves at him.
They're not unfriendly. One of them gives you kind of the slightest nod. But as you sit down, please join me. She gestures to her bar, this kind of beautiful wood. She begins to get drinks sorted up one by one. She offers you cups of this pulque, made from fermented agave sap. I can't tell you what it must taste like. I've never experienced this myself. I'm sure you guys, you drinkers,
It's
can imagine.
amazing.
Oh, really? I would think it's bitter as hell.
No.
Okay. The Alvi Dado here also offers you cactus, beans, and tortillas to anyone who is hungry. And if you are tired, as rescuing the town, as she refers to it, there is a spare room if you would like to rest.
Ogrush
And it
definitely helps himself to the beans and the tortillas and the cactus.
Sure.
This
The
is
cactus.
outstanding.
It has been
Cool.
stewed and kind of boiled. It's kind of like the consistency of soft carrots at this point.
Love soft carrots.
Is there anything...
Yeah, vegetables also filling his belly.
Nice. Fair enough.
Bricktop would like to pull his not his just common wineskin, but his more special one that he was given. He'd like to share a little bit from his wineskin with Rufina. A gift from me, since you gave us a gift.
That is a very kind thought, my dear. I'm afraid some of the pleasures of the flesh still avoid my grasp.
It is less about that and more just you bestowed a gift upon us, so I feel like this is worth me sacrificing some of my gift.
She will take a cup out and pour some to keep in front of her while you guys have a conversation, at least as a sign of respect. Now, as she sees one or two of you kind of looking around at the strange murals on the walls, these were actually painted by myself, an abstraction of San Citlan history. A lot of downtrodden people rising up to free themselves from tyranny. We have a very tenuous, what would be the word, way of life. We've only recently settled down from freeing ourselves. But, while San Citlan does have its problems, it is a beautiful place.
Yes, indeed. What do you know of the family Apanko from this place?
She shakes her head slightly. It's a sad affair. I believe was they suffered recently, as you can see, and she points towards the altar that was being set up, and you realize it is a picture of an elderly woman, someone who seems to have passed, and they're giving homage to. Um, she was,
Human woman?
yes, a human woman, tan-skinned like most of the desert-faring folk out here. She passed recently. Her body was sent to San Citlan for burial in her family estate. She was well loved, a simple woman. She made rugs and other furnitures that would last years.
The body was sent to San Citlan.
Yes, what we have here, she points to the altar, is known as an ofrenda, a memorial made to commune with the dead during the night of remembered. Hopefully, when the time comes, or the people of the town, those who are interested, will be able to see that she's passed on and get some closure with that.
Was she part of the Apanko family?
There's a nod.
I'm afraid we have met, this woman, or at least the olvidados of her. However, it did not seem natural.
How could you have this impossible? The night of remembrance is not yet arrived. She only perished but
That's
today.
what I know. She made her way to the Radiant Citadel, and in a marketplace full of people, started attacking. Her daughter was there, and her daughter was injured in the scuffle. She's the one who requested that we come here, to try to learn what might have happened. That something's not right.
That is a
What do
definitely
you
yes.
what do you know of Olvidados who come back early? Is this such a thing? Is it even possible?
This is not a thing. This is not a thing at all. This makes me worried because she did pass from. She was one of the sufferers of the Sereno outbreak that has killed many. We've
Is there a cure for this Sereno outbreak?
not that we know of. It began a few months ago, and has kind of spread fairly slowly in the beginning, but more so. And we have those who have passed from it. We typically bury them quite far from town, but for the most part, it doesn't seem to spread through contact. We're not exactly sure.
COVID.
Curious.
You do hear.
What can you tell us?
Yes?
Go ahead. What can you tell us about La Paloma?
She kind of, the head moves around the room, kind of taking everyone in that's there. I suppose there's no harm. You have done us a great deed here today. Paloma is seen mostly as a hero by the poor folks that live out here. Her band effectively raiding the estates and caravans of corrupt landowners, sharing the captured wealth with those who are left out, with those who need it. her band, she was accused falsely in a lot of the people's here's opinion of a crime a while ago by those of San Citlan's nobility in order to bring a stop to her pillaging.
I see.
They never could, really. A squeaky voice comes behind you as Rufina bows her head and you turn to see this gnome figure looking pretty much like the like the wanted poster you saw. Paloma. These seem... I know, I was listening by the door. They seem right enough, especially if they chase those other lots out of here. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And starts kind of shaking hands with the group. Firm grip, even though kind of this weathered exterior.
I am Augrush the Loquacious. It is a pleasure to meet you, Paloma. I admire your shoes. You don't often find bandits in heels. Well done.
Yeah, they don't expect me to reach so high. It always gives me the edge of surprise. She gives you a wink. You can see the dwarves that were sitting at the table have now kind of stood up. They definitely seem to be watching over her. You could imagine them to be some kind of bodyguard or something to that effect. Well, she smacks on the table. I'll have one as well, Rufina. One of the drinks gets slid over to her. She begins to throw it back. Welcome, strangers.
You have come at the request of the Apunko family, residents who reside in the Radiant Citadel. Something bad has happened. It appears that her mother came back from the dead early, but was not her right self. We are here to investigate and solve the mystery.
She nods. I think I know where your mystery begins as well. Sereno outbreak has killed many since it began a few months ago. And we've been hiding low since a bit of a strange event. One night, while me and a couple of my associates were traveling in the valley trying to determine the source of the outbreak, following any leads we could, we came across a strange creature, an owl-like being that revealed itself to be a terrible fiend. We managed to wound it, but the beast escaped. Fortunately, I lost two of my companions in the battle. The third, a druid of the land named Lope, died of Sereno soon after. He had been researching the curse and believed the fiend that we saw was behind its spread.
In the valley, you say?
Correct. Close to a town called Hollow. And you can see kind of a couple of people looking around, looking uncomfortable at mentioning that.
Can you help us get to this location quickly?
You're looking at about half a day's travel back across the valley. Here, I'll mark it on your map. As the strange grouping of houses you saw in the distance turns out to be the place you seek. So lying about 12 miles away. It's going to be a fair couple of hours. But the town of Hollow is, at this point, an abandoned mining town. And with good reason! You can see like some kind of crazy old coot with a bit of like spittle dribbling down his mouth as he shoves a kind of a glass under your nose, Ogrush, and then drinks it again. Dangerous place. I was riding there after dark, trying to get home. I saw movement up by the old mine entrance. Two gaunt figures were dragging some poor soul into the mine, and he holds up two fingers, but one of them's kind of missing halfway at the knuckle, kind of ruining the image a little bit. Had that guy wrapped up tight. Looked like twin death, they did. I'll never forget their hissing and their slithering of horrible tongues. As a mercy, the body that they were dragging, it looked like at least it was already dead. But I rode on, I tell you. And I didn't look back. He raps on the table for another drink and throws it back as well. Thank you. See Paloma kind of not too sure how to take that. But he is at least right in one regard. The scouts have seen owls and strange figures going in and out of a mine near the supposedly abandoned mining town of Hollow. This was probably pretty close to where we were set upon. Unfortunately, with the bounty on my head, it has not been as easy to travel through the valley these days. I find myself hiding out more often than not.
Was the druid the first
Wasn't
person
under
to
Ruggles.
be sick of Sarina?
Sorry, say that one more time?
Because she said a, a druid got sick by the Sarina, right?
Yes, after he got attacked by this creature.
Yeah. Was he the first one ever to be sick by Sarina, or were there other people before him?
No, they were traveling already investigating this curse.
Do you know who was the first person?
That is a good question. You see, they turn to. There's kind of another figure at the end of the bar that they bring in as well. Do you remember Serapio? Who me? The first person. I've tried to not take all of this in, to be honest. So, I mean, here's the person you're talking to. He doesn't actually have his cock in his hand like that and corn in his belt. He turns to the group. I think it was one of the outlying farmers. One of the agave farmers. I can't remember. Shrugs and kind of turns back to you all. It's hard to say it. Kind of hit a couple of people at once. No, yeah.
It is.
But Paloma will say, if you would be willing to possibly check out the mining town of Hollow, we do have a bit of funds put away that could go towards any kind of help, because the city of San Citlan is not interested. We don't export enough to be on their protected list, unfortunately.
We can agree to your terms. Pay the goblin. May we borrow some horses?
You see Paloma turns to Rafina, who we will sort it out. Paloma nods. Excellent. This might come of assistance. I mean, I guess I don't need it here for now. She pulls off a fairly ornate-looking silver ring, which he hands over to. Also, we'll say you a Grush, and she will explain this to be a ring of jumping.
Mm. I love jumping.
You have to spend some time. It does require attunement, but it can definitely come in handy. I have definitely surprised a couple of people, not expecting gnomes to drop from the rafters. It gets them every time.
Yes,
Thank you.
I would assume that would.
Another round then, Rufina. I think all of our friends deserve it after saving Milpazul from those dirt-sucking bounty hunters that are dogs of the Tresena.
Bricktop, upon receiving his next cup, will stand up in his chair and raise his glass and ask everyone to join him in a toast. He'll say, "The Lady Aponco's Olivados did appear in the Radiant Citadel, causing mass fear. We have come to San Citlan, of which Bricktop is a fan. The curse of this land the party will clear." And then he will
Hear,
down his
hear.
laugh.
Nice. People nodding and joining in, clinking their glasses. And there's definitely a fresh round given for everyone. Now, if you guys want to rest, as it is quite it's like mid-afternoon, so if you had to make the trip to the hollow, you'd probably arrive as you begin to lose light. It's up to you whether this is alright or not. You will be told peritons are not the only threat that is known in the region. You also have to be wary of ettins.
What are ettins?
Here we are. Basically two-headed
Oh.
giants.
They look friendly.
Yeah, very. Okay.
So I mean,
Would it be better for us to start out at first light?
well, so there's a strange. Wait, who's talking? This would be Paloma. The people suffering from Sereno are experiencing bone cold chills. The only relief they get is in direct sunlight. As night comes, they find themselves withering away. We lose a couple every night, unfortunately. It seems to be the worst time for them. While this curse is upon us, I would definitely caution against traveling at night.
Okay.
Alright?
Perhaps then we should set out first thing in the morning at dawn.
Before we do go to rest, Digit wants to go to the people that are sick with the Sereno and try to see if he cannot ascertain any new information.
Bricktop
Okay.
will go with him as well.
This, you can make a medicine or an arcana check.
Come on.
On a roll.
Oh.
You misdiagnose and kill 2 more people. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it's strange. You've never experienced this before, and being a curse as well is definitely probably. I mean, with the natural one, you're not going to find much, but yeah, you're below your depth. Bricktop with a 12, not doing that much better to be honest, but medicine. This is definitely a curse, so definitely lying more on the arcane side. It's very possible if people are reporting attacks of a fiendish creature that it could relate to that.
If Bricktop tries to use lesser restoration on someone, does that do anything? I know it's with it being a curse, but
That's a fair question.
I was considering it as well, because I have it as well.
Double check here. Here we are. Lesser restoration. Let's see here with the 13.
That was why I was trying to see if I can get any more information. To see if it's actually a curse or not.
So.
also to see if any of us get it.
Yeah.
Fair. I would say roll me a d20, just a flat d20.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, so we move over to one of the sick people, hovering, kind of huddling against the wall, covered in blankets, kind of looking up at the sun. You can see their face is blue, like a chill hypothermia, even though they're in the direct sunlight, and you can see kind of beads of sweat down their skin. But they're shivering, their lips are white, and you begin to put your lesser restoration ahead of them, and onto them at least, and you can feel a block, almost like a wall of force stopping your magics from spreading through the body. But in that instance, you can feel it kind of starting to dissolve away as, from what you can understand, lesser restoration does seem to be effective, but only while the victim is in direct sunlight. And I feel fine. I feel fine. And as this person kind of throws the blanket, sort of jumping around, people kind of rush in, embrace him, pulling at his skin. The flush begins to return, begins to move to a more normal shade.
Well,
Okay.
that worked.
There are
How
about
many-
29 people with Sereno, and it seems to pick up a new. It's increasing, so it's like 10 a week at this point. New cases.
Bricktop has 2 more uses of Lesser Restoration that he would use while we're in town.
You can give it to
So-
those
Yeah,
that
and-
are like the furthest along, I would say.
Yeah, and they're just seeing Bricktop doing that. He'll go to another 3 people that are also at the end of it, kind of, and
Nice.
Makari will help them slightly. He can't do much, but I'm going to go around and cast Prestidigitation on the people that weren't cured and make them warm.
That's nice. Okay, a momentary relief. That's definitely appreciated nonetheless. And for that, I mean, you do definitely garner the favor of the people here in Mulpazul. That night specialities are pressed upon you. Just little exquisite crafts made by the people here. Some of the best tortillas you've ever had. Various specialties of Milpazul are rained upon you. You can
Tamales.
all of that good stuff. But as you prepare yourself for the travel to the mining town of Hollow,
One more note for the night before we
Yes.
turn in. Bricktop will spend the rest of his evening drinking. What did you call it? The tequila.
oh
What,
damn,
what name?
let me double check. God damn it, what was that thing?
Anyways, the tequila. He's going to
Bull
continue drinking it until he's drunk, but he's trying to discern all the different notes in it and try to see if he can figure out a way to recreate it with his brewer supplies.
Nice. Okay. Well, I mean, you could definitely take some with you and continue. You have a good idea. Would you like to make a roll with that, with your brewer supplies, in fact?
I can. I'm not quite sure how to do that. So
You can
if I
just click on them on the left.
and what attribute would I use for that?
You could use any attribute that you could find an appropriate reason to be using, is my feeling about it. So what are you? Are a bard. Charisma, maybe not
Yeah.
the easiest thing to reason with.
Right.
Dexterity, obviously for deftness of hands, getting measurements right. Strength for
Mhm.
a variety of reasons, lifting things. Intelligence.
Constitution
could
for
be used.
drinking so much of it?
That I would say, yeah, totally. The more you
Yeah.
drink without passing out, the more you can identify the different flavors and notes. Oh,
Hey.
very nice. Okay, yeah, so you reckon, given a bit of time and access to the same kind of flora that's used, you could produce. You're pretty confident, maybe even a rival to Rufina's.
We do have a bag of holding, correct?
yeah,
Yes, yes.
I don't know who is technically carrying it.
Bricktop will carry it. He doesn't care. But before leaving, Bricktop would definitely want to stock up heavily on agave.
Sure. Just the raw drink, or what, like the material?
The materials for making tequila.
Okay, you could definitely be given a kind of a crate as a reward that you could store in there for later use.
Okay.
But as
And
yes,
I was gonna say, I remember there's also a flying carpet in case you ever
Yes.
need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
And what size did you say? Two?
it was the
Two-
small one.
Yeah. Did we?
Yeah. Yeah, we had
It
Roland's
was the
was like
second
a
smallest, I believe.
second smallest, or
Let me double check.
okay.
Yeah, that's right. It was really fast though.
Yeah, because I remember it was really fast, so I believe it was the 80 feet flying speed. That's why I said it was
Okay.
the smallest.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
smallest.
It can carry maybe two people.
Add 80 feet then, just so we don't have to worry. Okay, but yeah, unless there's anything you guys want to get done here this night, we can move forward to the next day as horses are prepared for your excursion.
Nope. That's it. We're done.
Very well. So a windy day, kind of, you can hear the sand whipping against the buildings and I mean, kind of battering you as you begin to head out into the open here. But horses are prepared with saddlebags, with a bit of rations and a water skin for each of you.
Bricktop's not too hungover.
Nice, which is a good thing because you're pretty much directly under the sun for the whole trip to this town. And as you
And
yes.
as we are heading out, they're just gonna cast aid on Ogresh, Makari, and Kitara.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is that? 5 max HP?
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
Let's add in +5 to your HP totals there. Let's see about the travel though. As you guys begin to... Are you all just taking horses? Is anyone wanting to use the carpet specifically?
No, Bricktop will sit on the carpet. Why not?
Okay. One less horse which is needed, and you'll probably have a much more comfortable ride of it. You won't have sore thighs at the end at the very least.
So we only need 3 horses? Unless, Katara, do you want to ride on the carpet? Pretty sure both of us can easily fit on it.
Whichever,
You're
that's
a little,
fine.
little cat. So then
Okay.
that's just 2 horses that we need. Because Makari's
Okay.
got his mount.
Then here we are. Let's
Are we
to...
paying for these, or are they being provided?
They're being provided, and they are hopefully going to be returned.
Okay.
Because you are doing the town a service by following up on a lead. They are kind of happily rented out to you guys for no charge. But yeah, you can see the people here. They're not very wealthy, so giving you that many horses, they probably had to kind of ask like one spare from a couple of the families here because they're used to plow fields and take to market and back and other things. So they are quite valuable. But as you set out into the heat of the I hate this word, Magay Valley, Magui Valley. Let's see here. Let's get some more perception checks from you guys. See if you're harassed by any further peritons or possibly etons coming down to raid some of the township, some of the farms nearby. So you do see more of these wagons now. Kind of traders resumed with Milpazul and San Citlan. It would look like all the wagons here have these strange levitation plates on them. You don't see a lot of... I mean, you can imagine it saves them a lot as well on wheels breaking out here in the rough environments. But at least some of the magics of San Citlan seem available for the lower class. For the most part, the people living in Milpazul don't seem that much different from any of the other worlds you've experienced. You may have seen 1 or 2 strange or interesting artifacts, but for the most part, they live pretty simple lives.
Nate, it would be, Magay.
Magay, thank you. Okay, Magay Valley. Sounds like you're just setting me up for a joke.
No.
No. Okay. Well, as you kind of near the Rusinor Peaks, this one of the many converging, what you've been told is basically that these mountains all have kind of ley lines running underneath them that meet at San Citlan, and that's why that specific area has such a propensity for magic and for reaching beyond the veil, especially in the valley when they celebrate the Night of the Remembered. But as you guys head to the hollow, kind of nothing but the screams of carrion birds follow you along your trail as you've pushed off into kind of a bit of the outlands. You do see the peritons once more around the distant peaks. They seem to make their home by the mountainside. But as you thankfully begin to see your destination get closer and closer, the feeling of relief of arrival starts to fade very quickly as a decrepit town that spreads out along the road ahead comes into view. You can kind of hear the weathered shacks creaking in the wind even from this distance, and you do note that there are a dozen or so figures that are moving in and out of the structures, which appear to have been long abandoned by their appearances, but nearby on the edge of the town you can see an opulent coach looking distinctly out of place is parked with its curtains drawn.
Oh, Nate, sorry, I need to retcon something.
Oh yes?
Just because you were away at the moment last week. As soon as Bricktop and Katara get on the carpet for the first time, Bricktop will tell Makari, in the realm of God's breath, we went to Cradle Lace. The manor had ridden above water into our space. We got a bag to hold. It's a whole new world as we ride our magic carpet with grace.
Nice.
I just had to throw the magic carpet Aladdin line in there.
Not fully.
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry, Disney.
They're gonna be shutting my video down hard.
Demonetized.
I just really need to run to the bathroom quick, so if you don't mind taking a couple minutes break, and I'll be right back.
No problem.
Cool, be right back.
Should have taken this feat. This feat is a lazy feat. It's so fucking lazy. I know perception space now,
between
17.
Between that and the keen mind.
Yeah.
Keen mind, I'm like, I'm not taking notes on anything.
So I just like the passive investigation. It beats the passive perception. It's like, I'm going to go towards that town. It's like, I would like to passively investigate this car for 50 with no intelligence score.
Well, guys,
Well,
looks like our party is going to have plenty of tequila for our adventures.
nice. Who has the Stone of Good Luck? I forget.
I think that's... Oh, that was given to me.
Okay.
I did not put it on my sheet, though. I need to do that. Yeah, I saw that in the inventory and thought about it, but I remember
Yeah.
that that was handed to me.
Yeah, there's a potion of Stone Giant Strength.
Yeah, that's
I
in
think
the
Ogreish, right? I
party
think.
loot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense for Ogreish for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'll put that on my sheet then.
And you also have the All or Nothing con, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And an amulet of health that he found on one of the skeletons. But when his constitution will go up, I will gladly share that with anybody who could benefit from 19 constitution.
I could benefit from that for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of us could.
The whole party just goes, yes, me, I would like to.
Essentially.
While we're at
Roll
it, advanced
roll
mayhem for
initiative.
everybody. Alright, I got that stone on my sheet now.
And there's a bag of beans.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff there is like a hungry bullet burrows and up and attacks. That'll be interesting if it ever happens.
Mhm. Is anyone relying on concentration spells a lot?
I do, yeah.
You are? Yeah.
I intend to at least. It's either gonna be spiritual guardian or spy growth or something else too.
What's your con score right now?
14.
Jade.
14.
Yeah.
And I forgot, are
All right.
clerics proficient in con saves?
No, unfortunately.
What is your save proficiency?
+2.
No, what are you
Which
proficient in
abilities?
for your saves?
Oh, sorry. Wiz and charisma.
Okay.
Okay. You guys ready to carry on with things? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you approach the. Well, I mean, you see that there's people here in the village. There's a ornate carriage. Most of the village seems derelict, and you can hear push. You can hear like scrapes and bangs and various sounds from the town, the buildings themselves, indicating. I mean, these guys are either not being very careful about what they're doing, or there's definitely some damage being done to the town here.
It would have not been possible to ritually cast speak with animals while riding here, right?
Let's see. They're most likely. How long does that last? Speak with animals.
10 minutes.
So you want to try like line it up as you arrive to have the spell go off, kind of thing.
Um, just want to be at some point tell the horses
Ah,
to once we get to the place we are gonna arrive, um, for them to hide somewhere close by, essentially.
okay. Yeah, that's easy enough. They'll agree
Okay.
to that. It seems reasonable. Well, what's the approach you guys are wanting to take here? You're not right up against the city as it is, but I mean you're moving along an open, like desert landscape, so you've definitely been visible against the sky. So how do you want to approach this?
Hmm. Stealth isn't exactly the strong point for a digit, but we can try.
I mean, no one's kind of starting a defensive. They're not kind of setting up and preparing their bows like the other people at the previous town were. You're not sure who these figures are. You can see a glimmer of light kind of flickering in from the village as one of the figures moves in. There's at least a bit of metal on them, swords or daggers. You're not sure what.
In order to not look too threatening, Makari would suggest that we head towards the carriage as if we were here to conduct business rather than riding for the people, which may look like we're attacking.
Okay.
Okay.
And when we get to the carriage, I'd like to use passive investigation of 15 on the carriage, please.
Alright, so slowing down to not be so intimidating, kind of making a stately speed over to the carriage. What are you trying to ascertain about the carriage? I mean, from the get-go, it looks expensive. It looks like it belongs to someone who has money. Definitely looks out of place here. You can see the fresh dust coating it from its time out of the city. It is also has these kind of levitation pads, which while the most part are fairly stable, every now and again you do see one side kind of dip down like an inch or two, giving this slight swaying effect.
Identifying marks, unique features, means in which if we were to walk on a bunch of carriages, could we pick this carriage out of a lineup, so to speak?
You would see there is an emblem that you guys would probably not recognize. Um, Kind of a large tower that is embossed onto a shield that is sitting on the side of the door.
And from there, Makari would knock on the carriage door.
You can see as you approach, one or two of the figures from the town do kind of split off from the building, moving up, not kind of intercepting you, but being in the area as you get closer to the wagon here, knocking on the door. There's a slight pause before you hear the door opens. You see stepping out. You definitely recognize this figure as a tiefling. He seems to be wearing quite expensive clothing, kind of a long cloak, and he looks around at kind of who knocked on the door, about to throw what seems to be kind of discrimination or verbal abuse, and then kind of sees strangers. Hello. Who are you exactly? What are you doing in my town?
Makari would wave, give a slight bow, then take a step back and point at the bush and let him do his thing.
So, just so you have an idea of what you are up against here, you do see this tiefling here. An older tiefling. You can see kind of the lines of age there, and the main thing that stands out about him is it looks like one of his horns has been replaced with a prosthetic horn made of a green kind of jade crystal. So this figure, well, get to it, we haven't got all day. You are speaking to Itzmin, the owner of this township and the mine. So if there's anything you need to ask...
Oh no,
I am Augustus Loquacious, and we have come to meet you, Itzmin. Your reputation has spread so far to the Radiant Citadel. I am a biographer, and I am here to write about you.
In what regard? My role in the extension of the council clause in Upper San Citlan, is that what you are referring to?
Yes, indeed, but we also wish to know your history, your upbringing. It will be a fairly weighty chapbook that the Radiant Citadel intends to publish.
Better than that. Make a deception check. Oh, you have. I see. You was that right now? It looks like it. And a 7. I'm sure. I am quite busy here, and well, refer to my previous statement. I am quite busy here. We have rumors of disease present here, and I intend on ridding the town of this eyesore before starting anew. You can hear in the background, like, as one of the houses kind of collapses halfway.
I see. So you will destroy this abandoned town and then build again.
If the funds are cleared, we'll build again. Otherwise, hopefully, no one will contract anything from this site.
How can we be of assistance to you?
Oh, you can just turn around and head back the way you came. My men are quite capable of handling the situation here.
I see. Very well then. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I do wish to write about you one day.
I'm sure. He says in a bit of a scathing voice. He kind of, as you turn away from him, looks to some of the nearer guards. Well, don't just stand there. Hurry it up. Got some work to do. Make sure the mine's taken care of in the nearby houses. And kind of gets back into his carriage and slams the door. A couple of 1 or 2 people stand nearby as kind of a bit of a guard, just to make sure you guys are going to leave the area. But other than that, you are left by yourself outside this wagon.
Are we able to speak with other guards hearing us?
You could move a couple of steps off and yeah.
Bricktop, maybe we should go do that thing.
That thing?
Yes, that activity we were talking about last night.
Chicken fights?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Underground chicken fighting. Isn't that what we discussed?
I think I was pretty drunk. So,
All we need to find is a hole in the ground.
I mean, the entrance to the mine is not something that's hidden. It's kind of very obvious. You see a bit of a rocky outcropping with some wooden support beams in the distance. It's
Is-
around the other side of the town, but it seems to be kind of on the edge of the town.
Is it guarded?
It doesn't look to be guarded now. There are kind of figures moving around quite close to that area. They look to be piling up materials. It looks like they seem to be interested in starting fires. As you can see, what looks to be like kind of bonfire pyres being created all around the town.
Garush is going to head for the tunnel.
Okay, are you stealthing, or are you just moving in the open, or how are you doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, your obviously creeping nature definitely attracts the attention of some of the people nearby. Hey, you there, what you doing? We're about to set this place on fire, you got work to do, you can't come walking around here.
We're looking for the chicken fighting.
Chicken fighting?
Bricktop runs up,
Hell,
well, I guess he's gonna get off the carpet. He's gonna run up. Oh, my apologies. This is Vigorous. He's an ass. Um, we're we're lost. Yeah, we heard that there was an underground uh sporting arena near here. Could we just go in and check real quick?
well, if there was, they're long gone now. Nothing in that mine but bodies and dust.
Well, perhaps you could just give us a few minutes. And I would like to try to persuade him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make a persuasion check as he turns to look at one of his friends. Are we ready to light the mine yet? No, we're doing the buildings first. Well, I suppose you got about, what would that be? About half an hour's time before the mine comes down. Me, my
Should be
guest.
plenty.
If you're not out by then, we're just gonna bring it all down with you inside. You understand?
Understand.
He shrugs and carries on.
Bricktop just looks at Ogrush. You need to work on that.
Yes. Let's go for the mine. Let's go there.
So, I mean, the stone of the mine entrance cavern is crumbling pretty badly. Do we have any stone cunning trait wielders?
Yep, you got two of them.
One.
Well, actually, Deja, you're not a stone dwarf.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, you can give
He's
me
a hill dwarf.
an intelligence check. It says, why would it be? What would you usually use on stone cunning? What does it say?
History, I believe.
History? Okay, so you can do history or nature. Well, nature's more appropriate, but it's fine.
I can do nature. I have proficiency in nature.
You are considered proficient. So.
Okay, so you would, if this was
11
okay.
plus you consider and add double, so it'd be a 15.
Okay, no, that'll just succeed then. That's fine. You're able to tell that the cavern is in, while it does look rickety, it is in no immediate danger of collapsing. So it's not going to kind of cave in on you as you are moving through the place. And from what you can see, the mine's entrance leads into a large cavern supported by wooden beams. At the chamber's center, a derelict wooden elevator rattles in the wind that rushes from the depths of a crumbling mine shaft. And let's get you on the map at this point. Here you are. Oh wait, you're on the wrong page. One moment. Okay, so let's let you see the town here. This is kind of the cavern where the mine is. Here's a couple of the nearby houses that were just kind of the closest to the place. Actually get rid of these so you can see them. And people moving amongst the kind of nearby areas, not too interested in what you're doing right now, to be honest. And you head over to this, see this kind of this elevator over here. Now, it seems to be that no one's, I mean, this place has been abandoned for a while. The elevator looks rusted in place. The shaft it once traversed is, it looks serviceable. You suspect if you could get the mechanism working, it's not going to meet any physical blockages here. But if anyone would like to give me an investigation check, oh, perfect, on a DC 15, that is exactly what you needed. You recognize that the elevator will collapse under any significant weight. You would imagine if about 100 pounds or more is placed on the elevator platform, it will collapse.
Be careful of this platform. It's rickety.
Now, with the crazy vision of your goblin, he would definitely notice that there is a faux piece of wall here that you can also kind of notice a bit of ingraining in the ground, indicating it kind of a groove that's long been worn from many uses.
Okay. If I use prestidigitation on the rusted chains to make them clean and therefore much more serviceable, would my passive investigation of 15 allow me to determine whether it would make the lift safe or not?
Cleaning them up, you'd probably see that most of the rusted metal gets discarded from the chains and they're left like this tiny sliver of metal, which is effectively the only substance that was holding them. Now you can just see it for what it is.
Can I try to, with a little bit of time, do mending on certain parts of it, the most crucial parts, to try and make it a little bit more serviceable?
Okay, yeah, mending, especially with the cleaning from prestidigitation, it definitely could work quite well together. You do see, though, just in case you wanted to check it out, though, that this wall is in fact a false wall. That's what I
Yeah.
was implying here.
Bricktop was about to look around for like a pickaxe or something to hit the wall.
But it looks like it can move if they're scraping on the floor.
You see candlelight shining through the cracks around the kind of false piece of wall. If you'd like to give me a perception check, if you want to listen or see if you can hear anything beyond, you're welcome to do so as well.
I'm gonna cast guidance on myself. Maybe I get something good this time. Hey. 24.
So, you can hear beyond the sounds of growling. Yeah, besides...
Those don't sound like chickens to me.
No.
Yeah, but there's definitely something down beyond there.
So there is definitely something else that Bricktop as well as Ogrush would notice. There is there's some kind of glyph that is inscribed onto the door and once again onto the floor in front of the door. So there's definitely something sketchy going on here.
What does it say?
It looks to be a glyph of warding holding a spell. You can give me an arcana check if you want to try and ascertain. 18, okay. It's holding a pass wall spell, which is a 5th level transmutation that allows you to create openings in matter.
So that's how you get through the one.
Agrush walks up to the door, what we think may be a false wall or a doorway.
Well, with that arcana check, you would most likely also be aware that it could very easily be used that you see this glyph on the floor. It could create a hole there instantly when someone tried to open the door, causing them to drop to a chamber below, which could be trapped, could be anything.
Digit, why don't you try to use your mage hand to push the door open?
He will do that. Yeah, he'll cast Mage Hand and he'll try to see if either the Mage Hand passes through or what happens.
Okay. As it begins to push at this kind of fake entrance here, you do see suddenly this opening in the floor, 5 feet wide, stretching as everyone kind of steps back. It's almost like a sucking feeling that's trying to pull you in. You can see what looks down to be a pit below, far below, and kind of opens momentarily and then closes again.
And he's gonna
Yes?
try to see if it happens again, if it's like it's a one-time thing or if it's every time.
No, the door is open now.
Oh, okay.
But you see beyond that the floor of this chamber is slick with blood.
Okay. Important information. Let me medicine. How old does that blood look? Is it congealed? Is it fresh?
Most of it's dried here. This, sorry, it wouldn't be so slick here. You can see a bit further up the passageway, the slight glistening of, not completely dried, but for the most part, yeah. Seems to be fresher the more up the passage you go.
Okay.
I think the chicken fighting is this way.
Would seem so.
I think it's a different type of fighting that's happening beyond there. Or will happen at least.
So what's the plan here?
Sally forth.
Okay.
How tall is the opening?
So most ceilings here it says are about 10 feet high.
Okay. Right, Makar's going to get up on the ceiling, spider style.
Okay. As you head into that passage, you hear a monumental crash from behind you, as if the earth itself begins to split asunder. Running back, kind of you wait for a moment to pass. You're worried the whole cave is going to simply just fall down on your head and take you all into the darkness with it, but it settles after a moment. Coughing and spluttering, you can see now just by a couple of torches set up on the walls, illuminating the motes of dust that have been flung into the air. And looking back, the entire entrance to this cave has been collapsed with explosives. You guys find yourself trapped inside here. And that's where we are ending today's session.
Okay.
You knew I didn't
All
trust that tiefling.
Yeah.
Guy, never trust something that looks like a demon, right? I mean...
Yeah, awesome. It's going to be interesting. Well, we'll see if you can find a way out next week, or what else is in the mine with you. You're not 100% sure, but it should be fun regardless.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks guys.
So, guys.